Oh, hey, Courtney. Sound check, sound check. For you. Nice. My eye out for my co-host tonight. What's up, JR? You can hear me.
Crossing the void,
Sound
beyond
not Chuck's
the wall of
voice,
worlds,
but mine.
along the arc of time, dwell those not of our place or age.
All right, good. Hey, David.
It is too easy to say that there is dark and there is light. It is too easy to say that there are two sides to every coin. The
Good to hear.
reality is far worse. For law flirts with tyranny. Chaos invites freedom. Evil.
Arg, Scott, thanks.
Good.
No,
Success.
no, not Will. No Will.
And those in the middle,
Mike
they
does
are
not.
worse,
There's Anna.
for they know
Wait
nothing.
for Anna to log on. There's Mike does not have a
the
game.
Codex Infernum and the Codex Exaltum, 2 source books that bring
So-
in-depth knowledge about beings of all dispositions.
Nope.
From the farthest
Haven't seen
reaches
Casey
of the
in a
heavens
year.
to the darkest depths of
He was
wretchedness.
kind of complaining
Both of
about
these
it on
titles come with new
Facebook.
full-color art, new creatures, new powers like possession,
They couldn't
and a
make
multitude
this.
of
I was like,
information
okay, whatever.
providing lore, background,
Someone who actually
names,
has a little mini
mechanics,
campaign in the
stats,
area.
and much
We'll
more.
see if he shows. He's
These
always
incredible
ever
tomes
mysterious.
are filled with demons and angels, devils, and celestials.
Rarely comes on Legends of Lore.
Unleashing
Normally
the
he's
powers
for
of good and evil,
Gavin.
law and chaos on your table. The Codices Infernum and Exaltum, bringing creatures hallowed and profane into your adventures. Pledge and share today.
Dun dun. Look, we're nice and early. Early's good.
Oh, there you go. Now I can see you too.
Awesome.
Yeah. I could only hear you before. Now I can
that
see
was
video
weird.
too. Yep. Yeah. Well, it takes a while on things apparently.
It's strange though because there's no like lag once you log on, once you connect. It's weird. So.
Well, I usually have to wait 5 minutes for you to get me in,
strange.
so it takes a while. Yeah.
Beacon, you're up, by the way. I have some Reapers left. I have 1 Raven's Rook left. I have 2 Tome Essential Horrors books left, and I got STL print compilation files from Infinite Dimensions, and that is what I have left. So let me know if any of them float your boat. I'll show them to you in a second. I'll show them to you as soon as we come live. I'll show you what's left. The cutoff is right at $100. I mean, that's right where it is this year. But I'll show you. So we may have 2 more guests tonight, so let's see. I know Mike's coming on again because his game got canceled again.
Yeah, Obi will be here.
Yeah, he'll
Nice.
be here. Mike will be here.
Good.
Mike will definitely be here. You know, we're super early. What's up, Kafir?
Hello, Kfir. Good to have you here.
Kafir's got a little surprise. He's got a Kickstarter with someone very cool is going to be part of it. Which is really neat.
Ooh.
Yeah. I won't give
That
it
sounds
away.
super interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
But I haven't seen Kfir do anything that isn't interesting. So
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, I spelled Fellreev wrong on that screen too. Sue me. On the bottom with it 1 L.
Yeah, now you corrected it, so it's good. Yeah.
Giveaway. That's right. I should put the giveaway up, which is going to be a classic D&D reprint tonight. Thanks for reminding me. Huh. Alright, there we go. Alright, good. Cool. We're a little early, but that's alright. Let me see. No Mike yet, no Tim. But I'll show these to Pegan, who's up, so... I mean, I have literally through almost everything. I still got a fair amount of Reaper miniatures left to order direct from them, and all the Troller game gift certificates are gone. Oh, you know what I still have? I still have the Dungeon Alchemist key for the program. No one's gotten that. No one's taken that yet either. So I do have that too. Vegan. All right. We'll come live a little early, Anna and me. What's going on? Oops. Let me hit this button there. Boom.
Okay.
There we go. We should have a couple other guests coming. So here you go, Beacon. These two are the same. They're just different cover, and they're a smaller book. It's called The Tome of Essential Horrors. Got one in hardcover and one in a limited edition soft cover. So, and it's an OSE, OS Gold Essentials Monsters. So, got that. And then I got a Raven's Rook still. That's it for the books. Everything else is gone. And then 3 compilations from Infinite Dimension Games for STL prints. Reaper Miniatures. Here comes Mike. And the Reapers. Let me go here. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. All right. I should have your address. I should have it. All right. What's up, Mike? All right. Cool. You got the hardcover one. Got it. All right. That was easy enough. See?
We're live already?
Yeah.
Yep. You came straight into it. Yep.
It's for donator gift for St. Jude. It's donator gift for St. Jude. Going in order down to $100, and that's where it's going to cut. Yep. So, yep. I just remembered that you were coming up on that list. So, and I saw you. Got to get people straight when the iron's hot, man. See, it's because there's so many. So, good evening, everyone. I got Mike with us, and Greyhawk Mike again. Unfortunately, his game got canceled 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
that sucks.
We're lucky, but
Anna.
Yeah.
And Anna. So, what's up, Lando? Let me do this here. We got a follower there. New follow BBG Publishing. That's going to be the new channel Kurt's going to be playing his games on. So there you go. All right. Is that the ever mysterious Mike? Yeah, it could be. It's possible. Once again, to celebrate Valentine's Day, I'm a sap, or well, depends on how you look at it. But there you go. A nice new balloon heart emote. Oh, I got so many animated emote slots now. I still got like 3 or 4 to fill. So there you go. So. Which guys? I'm on Twitter a lot.
The game got canceled.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I do a lot of posting on Twitter. So, yep, I'm not sure who you followed. So, of course, contest is open to people in the UK. Mm-hmm. Yes, because all I'll do is I'll give you a gift certificate to something in lieu of. I'll give you a Troller Games gift certificate for digital content, a Reaper, because they got a UK store over there. Yeah, of course. So go for it. Absolutely. All over the world. So, yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not particularly active on Twitter anymore. I've never been much to Twitter. Yep.
I'm active on Twitter. I'm just not active talking about games on Twitter.
You're active consoling Brandy on Twitter.
Right.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
She is a saint. All the stuff going on, man. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about it. I shouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, too much real life on Twitter.
Crazy stuff. So, I need to click your name then. I'm just not seeing your tweets here. I have Lord Gazumba. It's L Gazumba on Twitter, I believe, just with the L, because Lord's too big. So, Mike shares how, football and weather. A lot of that.
Yeah,
you're correct.
Complaining about football.
You're correct there, Dave.
So I don't know what I'm going to do for the spring and summer.
Not even 7 yet. So, got a lot of stuff going on this week. A lot of games. A game tomorrow night, game Saturday morning. That is right now, showing all the players. Got a really cool special guest. Really cool characters in that one. And other than that, I thought it would slow down after the fundraiser. It's not. So I'm editing my edits I'm editing the editor. Norker is doing a good job for the Altamira box set preview going to GaryCon. It's hard, man. It's freaking hard and annoying. Wow. So that's going on. And there's some other stuff. So, all right. As people are rolling in here, another mic idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
Mic idea that Mike didn't have time to really look into.
Fellreev-Barrens-Rift.
And yep.
So
the backyard of Greyhawk. Yeah.
Yeah, not going to be a Bandit. I don't want to talk about Bandit Kingdoms and Living Greyhawk era. I've heard enough of that with Casey. I've heard enough of that for a lifetime.
This area has a lot of other stuff going on.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So, and we could talk about it at different time periods too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you always forget about the Rift.
We can't forget about the Rift. That's the most interesting geological or geographical feature in the whole Flanese.
Yeah, because does it scientifically make sense, Anna?
Kind of not.
This is where, okay,
we've had this debate a couple of, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there is a debate whether the size of it, because if you look at it, I based this one on the size from the Darlene map and the Paisohawk map. And simply took it. So it's roughly 200 miles long and 60, 80 miles from one end to the other. And if you read some of the sources, it hints at it being like a mile deep. And something that is 250 miles or 30 or 40, 50 miles wide and 1 mile deep, that's not a rift or a canyon. That's the plains between two mountain chains. That's like the Inland Empire here. Yeah, maybe not even a valley. You can stand in the middle and barely see the mountains at all, so to speak. It's not a canyon at all. So in order to make so you either slim it down on the surface area or you make it much deeper. And my idea was to make it deeper in order to make it look
impressive.
Looks
like the LGG. You just threw out some figures on your map. I just read the LGG today. And it says that Rift Canyon is 180 miles long, 30 miles wide.
Yeah.
It's still, right?
Yeah. Even with those numbers, which is less than on the Darlene map, then it will be 30 miles wide, and it's the depth that is there. You can have something really big, but then it needs to be big in the depth too. Otherwise, it's not that much to brag about, so to speak.
Was there anything official that said how deep it is?
I think I've seen places. I think there's somewhere mentioned something like a mile or something, but I want to have it like, it should be at least as deep as it's wide.
How deep is the Grand Canyon?
But mile and a half, maybe two. It's somewhere around 3,000-4,000 feet, if I remember correctly. I've only seen it a few times.
And the sources say it definitely doesn't have a river cutting it.
No, exactly. There's no major river coming in or no major river flowing out. So it's not a river canyon like the Grand Canyon carved out by a river, but we have lots of other cool things. And not every canyon is by a river, meaning some of it comes in the real world. You have ones that are made from plate tectonics and volcanic activity and stuff. So that's other reasons for upheaval that opens things like, look at Iceland. You have a mini version of it. If you want to. The biggest ones on the planet is the Great Rift Valley of Africa, but that's on a different scale. Now we're talking 1,000 miles wide in places or more. So then it's a geological phenomenon. It's not something you notice when you're there, so to speak. So for a fantasy, that would not be fun because it wouldn't add anything to it. In the environment, that will be like there's a sign saying, and then you walk one advent campaign later, you go to the other end. So it's, but it. So if we treat it right,
fix had been to just make it narrower. Darlene map, we already know and have agreed that it's stylized.
Exactly, it is stylized. But I like
Why measure
to keep
that rift by the hex?
Yeah, but I like to. Yeah, if you measure it by the hex, it's way more than a hex wide. So in places. So I just wanted to make it deeper, and I'm working on it right now. So it's something I've been. So I will have cool stuff to share at GaryCon. I just hope that the final renders can be done. Yeah.
Everyone. So Wayne, I'm assuming you pass on your giveaway item. Because you were up there in the top like 15, and I didn't hear back from you. Just let me know. Because a lot of stuff is gone at this point. And by the way, someone give us another 100 so we can hype this up. We get over a level 3 hype train, I'll double the giveaway. Always that simple. So all we need is another 100. So all right, Rackham. Here's Rackham. Everyone say congrats to them for making partner. Did it with the Baldur's Gate, which was genius, and now still does some D&D stuff and Pathfinder stuff and a bunch of other things. So congrats on getting it, man. I know you worked hard at it. So we know that Shokanth is coming out in the one book. It's going to be like a compilation. And we also know that Vecna is its own book. And I know Anna and I will argue, but not argue, but differ. I am sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of Vecna. I just am tired of Vecna, and maybe.
Well, Vecna is one of these things I want to go to in 5 years or something. I want to. Yeah. Right now, I agree with you. It's been too much Vecna, but there's been some cool stuff from Vecna. I like the attention, but it has very little to do with Greyhawk. But we have to realize Vecna is general fantasy, general D&D, like Drow. So which is in many ways cool because a little bit of his aura of bigness is splashing down on us, or we can bask in slightly little bit. We can wave our hands here on the sides and say that, well, Vecna was Greyhawky at first. So yeah.
True, but what they did was, he got moved into Ravenloft. He got moved all over early on. Yeah. But it's all to take advantage of Stranger Things stuff.
Oh yeah, and I don't mind that. It's just that that's not the Vecna I will run in my campaign, but it's cool but you can take little portions of it. Yeah.
Wouldn't if they're them taking advantage of Stranger Things, wouldn't that be them setting the game in the real world?
Yeah, and to me it's
I don't see it.
Yeah, to me, I'm so surprised that they didn't cash in more on Vecna and Stranger Things after when it became it seems to have been such a success without them planning for it or knowing it. That to me is weird. The same thing with Baldur's Gate. Come on, there should be a Baldur's Gate campaign. There should be also, but that's another story. So now I'm getting off topic here.
Rackham, I'll just say this because I'm allowed to because I asked. There will be a Greyhawk product coming out. Maybe not. But there'll be
might be a chapter in
there's going to be a real Greyhawk product coming out in 2024. That's awesome.
Have you asked?
Oh, but I'm under an NDA.
Oh yeah, but you've asked. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yes, thanks, long shot. Hit us up on that hype. Boom. So yeah, that's as far as I can go. So more to come. Hopefully more will be announced at GaryCon. All right, more to come. That's huge news. It's super huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So intimate with it. All right. But hey, you got whatever you get from WotC or whatever, and they're going to be at GaryCon in force. There's going to be a lot of that. There's a lot of big named streamers going to be there. Like Legends of Evangelist is going to be at GaryCon. Robert Hartley is going to be at GaryCon. In addition to the entire Greyhawk community, it's going to be at GaryCon. So it's going to be a huge place, and they're going to try and take advantage of a lot of this 50th anniversary stuff there. And I don't blame them at all for doing that. And we'll hear more about these publications there. I'm assuming, and that's not a bad thing for the community. And just to show one more time, I've shown this a couple times. But just to show you the power of our team here, we have a lot of great people on here. This is going to be a 2-page ad inside of the events guide. Myself, Garner are on here. We got wonderful people: Carlos, Anna, Rob Phantom, Guild Superior. Then a bunch of my players and Slav Squad members and 2 Drink Minimum, Darling, Bones, Myriad, Curtis, Lilbert, Coco, Greg, Michael, along with a lot of other people. So, and if you got left off of this, sorry, I can only fit so many people on it. And there you go. And that's going to be, GaryCon's a huge thing. Huge announcements this year coming up there. So, All right. There are also rovers on the Barrens. Cool, David. David, man, I know you don't like hopping on last second, but you're more than welcome to come on, man, because you know your shit. I know, but I know you're more than welcome. So, woohoo! All right. Giveaways are going. Oh, Wayne, my gosh, thanks. Did you ever answer that, Wayne? Are you passing on your giveaway? Just so you know, I still have Reapers left. I have a key left for Dungeon Alchemist, 3 compilations for Infinite Dimensions, and 2 books. That's what I'm down to. So we're getting to the $100 range. Wayne, you were way up above that, just so you're aware. But I appreciate all the support. All right, so we got double the giveaway tonight, too. We're doing 2. 2 classic D&D reprints. I just got reloaded for the donator gift for St. Jude. I sent you a message last week. I did send it, so let me know. Yep. All right. What? Mike, Greyhawk Mike. Yes, teach you to check Discord. So let me know, man. I still have Reapers. I still have, so you're more than welcome still. I still have that. I still have that Dungeon Alchemist key. I can't believe it got down that far. So, Mike, how'd you think about this? This is a eclectic mix. I know they're close to each other. What's up, Curtis?
The idea was to talk about Fellreev Forest, and then I realized that maybe there wasn't enough there, so I just started pushing out the boundaries a little.
Cool.
I know that there's a lot of map content that can be shown regarding the Barrens and the Drift Canyon as well. There are things down there or up there relatively, but the Fellreev itself is pretty there's a lot going on there, and that I doubt anyone ever talks about.
I agree, and that is a place that I think more adventuring should be done. Right? The Fellreev is a cool place.
It's just in a
weird spot
place. Yes,
because it's so close to Ayus and so
not easy to get to.
Well, that's true. That's true. It's got a lot of going for it. Good guys, bad guys, guys in between. Some
bad guys trying to be good guys.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Some really, really bad guys like a Lich. You may have some old, if you play this style, old Horde Society hierarchs hiding out there. All sorts of undead roaming about, dragons, everything. So it's a place to hide. Yep, a Hierophant, absolutely. I know. I think that's actually listed in one of our books that we would talk about tonight.
Living Greyhawk Gazetteer has.
Is it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was in.
I think it's after.
Eyes Evil, too.
Well, yeah, it's already there. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, Anna, your thoughts on our initial topic of discussion?
Well, first, I think it's an interesting because it is like Greyhawk's backyard in a lot of sense. It's not the prime part of the setting, and it's the part that got overlooked not only by a lot of products, but also if you take it from in-game, it was an area that wasn't conquered by the Great Kingdom. It was the outside. It was like the Germanic Northern Europe for the Romans kind of thing. It was like outside. It was probably the place where the riffraff that was thrown out of and fled from Great Kingdom and others who have not been organized enough to. So it was an area not organized, institutionalized like a lot of the rest of the Greyhawk with proper countries and stuff. I mean, it was a country run by warlords, thugs of various kinds and stuff like that, and there were probably a lot of people who fled from the Great Kingdom and etc. etc. So it's an interesting area full of adventure kind of stuff, and it's also an area that is cold temperate, meaning it has bitter winters and probably nice good summers. It's far away from the ocean, so it's probably cold and dry in the winter and primarily cold and dry in the summer. So and it has some interesting geography, meaning we mentioned the rift, and it has some hills in the east from the Griff Mountains, and then there's some rivers. The main one is the Artonsamai that starts in the Fellreev and then flow through and east and around the rift and then into the Nerdub. So, and there's some little lakes. There's probably plenty of lesser lakes that we don't know about, but there's not that many big ones. And the reason is that it's an area that is probably fairly dry, like the center of inner of Asia, so to speak. This is like Siberia, southern Siberia in climate. So it's cold temperate, probably on the dry side. So it's like from steppe to kind of cold temperate continental climate to steppe-like. That means that there's a little bit of rain in the summer all year round, and the summers are hot and fairly dry, and the winters are cold and fairly dry. So that's probably why not so much. And so the most of the Fellreev is probably full of needle pine trees, evergreens for the most part, so to speak.
Because it doesn't say it's a conifer forest. That's why
no, but it's if you go by what it should be climate wise, but it doesn't have to be. You can have a mix of a lot of different trees, so to speak. You could probably have a lot of leafy ones or deciduous trees in the south and evergreens in the north, but it's close to up there, so to speak, close to the polar circle. So not that many, maybe some hardy oaks here and there, but in the north part.
Someone's dressed the part.
Yeah.
It's the ever mysterious Tim, everyone. What's going on, dude?
Yeah.
I heard we were talking barbaric.
Yeah, we have the rifts up there. Yeah.
The rovers, right?
Yeah. And then we have the forlorn forest and up and the
way up here.
Bernial, yeah, but Bernial, that's way to the west. But the forlorn is that northern outpost at the edge of where trees can grow, so to speak.
What do they call that line again? Timber line?
The tree line? Yeah.
The tree line.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah, it's where the tundra takes over completely. So yeah.
There you go. You got your mug. All right, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you got that from Tom's 3D printer guy.
He made that
last Thursday. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I got that from the skull of a goblin I killed.
Yes.
Don't diminish it.
What are you wearing? Greg is asking. What do you got on?
It's a caribou skin.
It's real caribou, I'm assuming, with Tim. He probably killed it himself.
I did not. It's actually very old and a little bit dry rotted, so it's hard to make clothing with. But
awesome.
Well, that's cool, Tim. Tim's joining us because he's got a Rovers game that you can watch sometimes. Yes, and most of if you ever watch those games, most of the time they're all freezing to death or starving to death. So it's It's really fun. It's really
or running out of arrows.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You got 4 arrows. That's really nice of you. So we're going to talk Barrens. We're going to talk Fellreev. We're going to talk the Rift Canyon tonight. All 3 in this discussion. So.
We have the lands in between the Fellreev and the rifts are some of the most interesting. So we need to talk about them specifically because there are some.
The what?
Cool the lands in between the Fellreev and the rift are some of the most interesting.
Yeah, you think so? Really?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some interesting bits there to be mentioned, but we get to them later. So yeah.
Where shall we start?
We go from north to south or south to north, or
well, Tim's
should we start back in history and go forward?
Yeah, let's start back in history. So let's start at the beginning here.
Yeah.
I guess I should bring up what would I bring up? A migration map? What do you think?
Yeah, we have pre-migration. This was Flan country apparently, and because we don't have much elves here or dwarves, don't seem to. Any of the demi-humans seems to be almost devoid of demi-humans in this area for the most part. There's no elven towns or gnomish or dwarven or anything.
And there's no elves in the Fellreev, or very little?
Not much.
Really?
No. Wow. Yep. Yeah, we don't have much.
Interesting.
They live in Greyhawk. They sprinkled in some of everything everywhere, but that was for organized play reasons. They needed a home for all the halfling characters coming from region X everywhere and so on. So, but before that, I don't think we have much mention of demi-humans in this area at all.
All
So
right.
it seems to be Flan hunting grounds up until 700-800 years ago. Yeah.
So if you look at this migration map, it looks like the Backlunists like, no, we're not dealing with them up here. We're turning around.
Yeah, they had
Rovers.
enough in the west there. So yeah.
Because you got the Rovers here, you got 10 here.
Rovers were
Yeah.
much more plentiful back then.
Many more tribes. So the Rovers have. What's the
They get ground down.
What do you think? What do you think
decades.
their numbers are? 50% less.
Well, according to Living Greyhawk, there are just a few villagers and some scattered folks left. And way
might
up
be like
north in
10%
Kinemit is the hang on a second, in not in Kishinen up north on the coast. That's one of their final hideouts, and the other one is Sable Watch north of the Fellreev. Those are the only two leftovers in the beginning of the Living Greyhawk.
Wow,
or during Living Greyhawk era. That was it. IUs kind of took care of most of them and conquered their core lands and drove them north or south. So they either hid in the Fellreev or they moved north and stayed so far away that IUs didn't bother to reach them up in the north. That was the Living Greyhawk story, so to speak.
But that's not the real story, right, Tim?
I would bet there would be more that was just not seen.
Yeah, meaning this is something you can use as a plot hook, or you can say it's disinformation, or you can use it as a base for your own creation, so to speak. Just like the fall of the Horn Society is one of these things that you can use that knowledge in whatever shape form you want in your campaign. You can say it was just like me. Oh, that was just a play. They just used it. That was what they wanted you to believe, kind of thing. And you can do the same thing with the IUs, and he might have declared victory over the Barons or the Rovers, but no.
In the World of Greyhawk starter box 576 CY, it says Rovers and Barons have 65,000 population ? Like they don't know if it's more. And they don't do that very often. It's usually a pretty absolute number.
But it's an enormous area, so that means that
that's a small amount for that area. Right?
Exactly, meaning it's not much.
It says 50 here.
Yeah, if you have 50,000-60,000 spread out over 500,000 square miles or something in nearly that will be like taking 4 or 5 states up in the North Midwest and spread 60,000 people over there. That's and you can walk there for months without seeing a single one. Yeah.
So, Tim, since we have you here, and this is your area, your wheelhouse, as we always say, what time you're playing? I'm assuming post Living Greyhawk era. IUs is still the main threat there.
Yes.
What is besides survival? I'm assuming survival is the number one thing. What gods are you using? That kind of stuff. What's going? What's the general gist?
The pantheon of nature deities and/or nature forces that deities use to manifest themselves. The druidical powers are there, but also Pelor, the god of the hunt, whatever tribal forms they would show up in, because the names could be different based on dialects. So I'd like to have like the same deity, but have different manifestations and different.
That makes sense.
Different flavors showing up, because they don't have a big giant codified set of anything. Because they're not the sort of people that codify things in that sort of level of detail and specificity.
Flanish, but from what I gather and watching Tim's games, a lot of it has a feel to it of tribal, almost like Sioux.
Yeah, the Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Or Cheyenne, actually.
Cheyenne, okay.
I stole liberally from the Cheyenne after reading Wooden Leg, an Indian who fought against Custer. He actually was there at the battle, and through the aid of a doctor, who helped translate his whole story, his life story. And I was so impressed about the level of sophistication of kind of their legal system and how they manage things and organize things that I thought that barbarians in most fantasy things get short shrift and really are treated as the idiots that just think, oh, I'm strong. And I think
that's the that's
and I think
the
that's
conqueror. Yeah.
it's insulting kind of to all indigenous peoples, I think, to make them so one-dimensional and stupid. So I felt moved to try to build something a little bit deeper and different. That's all.
Yep. I think that's a great move, and I agree in that sense that I see it as the last of the Flan that was never conquered and never occupied or any of that. They're kind of the Flan that lived outside of the Great Kingdom, and they stayed outside and they kept some of the old habits.
So Tim, this Split Rock is your area, right? That Anna added to the map, correct? That's what I
Yes.
thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so tell us about the area. I mean, because I know you're game right in this spot.
It's a mysterious landmark that's a very, very large, couple 100 feet tall piece of rock that actually is cracked in the middle and kind of split aside.
2 buttes then, right?
Right, and with a bridge, a hanging bridge that connects them, and those rocks have been tunneled into as well, so there's fortifications inside them. And there's a lake behind it, and because it kind of intersects a waterway, so a swamp is formed on one side and a lake on the other. And generally, because they're non-agrarian, it's not really that useful a place to live in so no one is kind of settled there. But so that's why some bad guys who are a little bit more subterranean have taken up residence.
Plus, it's at a high point too, where you can view around it in the area. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's a section map that I sent Anna for her own perusal if she cares to, for the river valley that I usually base most of the.
Well, Farron's doing 5 feet mapping up here. Then
I've started doing it, and the thing was that I started a little bit too early because I didn't have the computing power to render it and stuff. But I will be back at it because now I do have it.
That's insane.
And these days, you don't really hear that often.
Not a computing power.
Gameable.
Not a computing power and a monster machine, you know.
I have 2 now. Yeah.
You've heard of Google Earth? She's making Anna Earth.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm working on it. So it's closer than I thought. If you asked me 6 months ago, I would say it would take 5 to 10 years.
I'm really looking forward to Street View. It's going to be awesome.
See the signs on the businesses in the city, Greyhawk. Yeah,
it's coming. So, I'll ask you 1 or 2 more quick questions here, Tim. It's such a large swath of area, right? That if I recall, didn't they go into the Fellreev?
They actually have an excursion that's taking them far south. Yes, into the Felllands. Actually, they're
that's up at the Felllands. Yeah, down here. Yeah.
They made it, and they're headed down to Rook Roost or whatever.
Raven's Rook, you mean, right?
Right. Raven's Rook, yeah. And they're holed up in a bandit's little fortification.
Raven's Rook, yeah.
And that's where we left them last time.
Right.
Okay, in the last episode, People Are Strange.
Christine Van Patten, thanks, Christine. People Are Strange, yes. You got too much going on.
People are strange, and it was strange. They couldn't figure it out, and they were trying to self-destruct as hard as they could.
I got to update your shout out there, Christine.
Awesome.
So, when I watch, because I'm producing it, right, and you're playing, all the time, this is just my feel. No matter what happens in the small game, it feels like it's a losing effort. Does that make sense? I get it. Actually, when I'm watching, I get a sense of dread. Like with other games, like my games, I hope that there's a sense of positive. Well, if we do this,
Tim and me, we are so negative DMs. we screw things
up. It's gonna be all good in the end. I don't get that feeling.
Like, I like to create that sort of angst that you don't know.
That's good, Curtis. Yeah, that's good, Curtis. Yep.
Talking. So that's maybe 2 spotted cows. There you go. Almost anything's worth 2 spotted cows next month, Curtis. Right?
Yeah, I promise, Curtis, I will drink one at each convention. So yeah.
Oh, so did you ever read that, everyone? Let me. Christine's husband. This is running through on her site. That code, Lord Gazumba, anything through 2024. So I should have you scrolling through on the sponsor list there, Christine. Thank you. If I don't, I will add you back in on this one, but I thought I had you in. So very, very nice of you to do that. Christine's got some great stuff.
I know. Antiquitous said, "Count your arrows." The no supply line, because it is a little bit rigorous, because they're watching after some of the young people, and they don't have a supply line, and their connect for supplies got diminished. Yeah. And then, but luckily, there's bandits have been stealing stuff, so they have some of the bandits.
Michael Zuzak brings up a question. Rovers don't mean they're roving on horses, do they? Do they have a lot of horsemanship? Thanks, Lando.
Yes.
They do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
They may not be highly sophisticated, or they may not all have stirrups, depending on the tribes and where they're at.
Okay.
But generally, they do have horses. I'd say unless you're in deep forest, then it's, But horses are sign of wealth. They're a sign of capability. You can move your stuff with them when you have them. If you don't have them, you have what you carry, and that is, anyone who's lived out of a backpack knows that's some poetic simplicity right there.
So, Mike, Anna, how about a question or two for Tim on his rovers?
Yeah, I got one. So I was looking at some of the encounter charts in the old glossography
nice.
here, the old stuff for the rovers, and a few of the things popped out on me. I was going to see if Tim has used any of these in his games. Nulls.
Things I've used bugbears.
Bugbears, okay. There's also centaurs in the Barrens. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're friendly centaurs or not. And then lastly, one that kind of cracks me up, because Rich used these against us in our Monday game the other day, and that's the Kulan from Fiend Folio.
Quillans.
Yeah, 8 foot tall, tattooed.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, they're like Quillans or something. Yeah, with the crazy hair and all that.
Yep, those are on the Barrens.
I have not used those.
Yeah.
Aren't they the ones? No, I'm thinking of Quaggas.
Throwing out some ideas for you.
Yeah.
Those
Fiend Folio.
They run around with completely naked almost.
They're just like berserkers.
The picture has like a top knot on it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Shaved head with a top knot.
And they have specially sharpened weapons too.
Yeah.
That are not magical, but they have.
Okay.
I would think they're far east or far west, not quite in the middle of the Barrens, but towards the more metallurgical type tribes.
Alex, how many times have you died in Tim's game? I know John killed you one time. A PC killed another PC, which was awesome, or not. So,
corrupted flan. That is the simplest reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tim, give us a thought or two about direction. What's the grand direction?
Muted.
Sorry, I had to deal with a young person interrupting.
Oh, I know how that is.
Yes, you may.
What are your thoughts on direction?
Ask the question again, please, sir.
What are your thoughts on direction? Like, is it just survive as long as possible?
No.
Turn the tide.
The direction for the underdogs is going, and you're going to see the barbarian people interacting with city dwellers. There's going to be an interaction. They have to navigate the urban jungle for a little bit to bring, to go and retrieve stuff to bring back to the tribe. And then when they get back to the tribe, I hope to have it much closer to the underdog and dark hand timeline should be more closely matched.
Because there is two different groups.
Right. So I have the underdogs are happening before the dark hand adventures. So I've had dark hand characters cameo in the underdog game. So
that's true, and see, it's fun having that crossover. It really
right.
is.
And then I also have to integrate the fringe element. If you remember the fringe that was with Rattlebones and him getting captured with the few fringe characters. So there's a third barbarian group that's been captured by two wizards that have a little keep in a hobgoblin forest out in the middle of nowhere in the Barrens.
Barrens are so huge, just like everywhere else in Greyhawk, you can put in whatever you want, and it doesn't affect anything.
It's like an old ruin that they kind of refurbished, and so they have to effect an escape, and and I want those three to like intersect and
that's good. Anna has a city dwelling character as a commando class for you, so Anna, like your connection to the rovers.
Well, it's city / more like they're kind of like a ranger, but
urban
more
ranger
direct
kind of.
and less mystical.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So, Anna, any questions for Tim? And then if not, we'll.
I think it's really cool. You kind of dug deep into and like to specialize in a setting and to do adventures that go deep like this. It's awesome. That's fantastic. You should write up and kind of share the lore, so to speak. That will be awesome. Yeah.
That's on my to-do list.
Yep.
Yes, and we all have too many to-do lists, don't we? It's great.
Yep,
it's crazy how many to-do lists we all got. But all right, so as we move a little bit south here, I mean, and their tribe, their campsites all over the place here. I don't know how many of these are active anymore. Sly Fox, Wolverine, War Dog, you just don't know, right?
Yeah, and I put them there. They are from Living Greyhawk. One of the few things that I thought was really cool with Living Greyhawk. So the heraldry is from Living Greyhawk. And the campsite were mentioned, but they are not really. I put them where I thought they would be appropriate, so to speak.
The tribes are from Dragon Magazine, where Gygax had a rover of the Baron. It's on your map, that little gathering, fighting against the Horn Society.
Yeah.
So it mentions the various bands and it may give their general region where they're from. But the heraldry was not part of that.
Yep. So that came later. So I kind of mixed them together and I think the function as I see it is that these are places where these tribes live. These are the places where they meet certain times, specific times of the year to kind of when they find new wives and they marry off their kids, they barter for things, they party and socialize and also when they have their legal disputes and all that stuff, so to speak, that goes on. So
and seasonal.
Exactly. They can do it depending on this tradition, maybe 4 times a year, maybe often, maybe less, depending on. But that each tribe probably have their own tradition, or maybe they have similar, so they can go and send emissaries and guests to other ones and etc. But it's a way of keeping contact and stuff like a lot of nomads in the real world have used that, and there are few nomads in this world, but the tradition carries over for like the Samic people and others. They still do these things, and I bet that Native Americans probably do it too in tradition still. So that's why I put these. So these campsites are probably more like traditional gathering grounds, but they might be monuments and stuff like that there, and they might be places where they put their tents and stuff like that. So if you come to a place like that, you can probably see that it's there, and it might be sacred in that sense. If you go and mess with their monuments or something they have there, then you get the whole tribe will come after you and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I know this is gonna sound really dumb of me because I say dumb things a lot. It sounds like almost those meeting places are like the Neanderthals and Daryl had that clan of the cave bear. Is that kind of it? Like moot gatherings?
I think that has been part of humankind since early days. Since we were hunter-gatherer down on the savannah in Africa, real humans have probably had similar types of behavior from
It-
that time up until modern times. So yeah.
yeah. If you're non-agrarian, you have to move to follow the food.
Yeah.
And also
Mhm.
you exhaust the food that's naturally growing in an area. So you have to move. And
Exactly.
so your
Yeah.
one tribe could be huge, but
Mhm.
you're going to have elements and branches of your tribe that go in off in different directions
Mhm.
and all move, because they live by foraging
Okay.
and by hunting.
Yeah. And you can
And
have
then
certain people that go to the coast and gather salt, for instance, that should last a whole year for and stuff like that. They should maybe gather, some of them might gather material and barter. So they might take some of their resources to go to trade with someone else and then come back again. And
or
so you can,
they
oh, sorry.
or they might gather for the big if the herds traditionally migrate through an area,
Mhm.
they're going to gather and maybe do a giant hunt where the bunch of them
Exactly.
can
They follow
maximize
the
their
mhm. Yep, they follow their prey animals around on the gather. And they also that way they might have a summer gathering place where they celebrate summer, another one for winter, and then somewhere half in between they have other campsites or something where they formally gather at certain times of the year to have parties and socialize and stuff like that. So that seems to be and it's cool to have in a fantasy world. You can have a lot of these different habits and stuff could live side by side, which is adds to the richness of a setting to have it. And then you have IUs that comes in there, probably wanting, I guess he probably wants a lot of the people there for labor and for God knows what, so to speak, for souls alone, maybe, you never know, and other nasty stuff. And he might also want to make sure that the rovers aren't coming stabbing him in the back. Then there might be other resources. He
Yeah.
might don't want to rely too much on agriculture. So he might want to have go up there and hunt, so to speak, and gather or just gather a lot of
Okay.
these animals and try to raise them to breed them in captivity rather than having them in wild or something. So you can there might be several reasons for IUs to be up there, so to speak. And there are things he might want to hide in the backyard, like his prison at Gibbering Gate, for instance, and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
it's interesting too because their seasonal nature and natural nature might make it easy to do some really bad blows against them. If you go
Mhm.
in and you massacre all the herds,
Yeah.
you're going to force them into some sort of austere and starvation,
Yep.
and so it makes them vulnerable, but all the skill sets they have make them hard to pin down and
Yep.
hard
Mhm.
to, because they can run and live on the land, but how long can the massed troops do that? They can't
Yeah.
they can't keep up, they can't do it.
No,
And
but
so
they can temporarily come at you in large numbers and attack
right,
you once and then just scatter and disappear. So it
right,
might be nasty to sit there. If you're a bunch of Ayusians and you sit in a camp out there and all of a sudden 2,000 of these rovers come in and raid you overnight or in an afternoon, and then 6 hours later they're all gone, so to speak. And so it's
right.
a cat and mouse game between Ayusians and rovers, I think. But
All
on the other
gone
hand,
with
oh, sorry.
several major water sources between you.
Yeah. Yep.
They're gone.
Yep. And I can see IU's probably has some nasty folks and critters lined up too that might be hunting grounds for demons go hunting there and stuff like that too. So IU's is probably it might be it's an asymmetric warfare. If you have in one position, IU's might be 10 times stronger, but on the other hand, as soon as they're out there somewhere, the rovers can maneuver around and punch hard occasionally, so to speak, a couple of times a year or something. So you can have some interesting dynamics, and also IU's might be in all his misery and evilness, he might be pragmatic, meaning if he's willing to strike a deal with anybody as long as it's beneficial for him and his folks. And also, a lot of his folks are probably very prone to corruption. So if rovers are smart, they can probably use that fact because I don't think that many of IU's henchmen are particularly loyal. If they can strike a good deal at the moment, they probably take it. So you can have some interesting adventuring up here. for numerous reasons. And the area is so vast, it's quite easy to stay out of harm's way in that sense. You can always, if you have good eyes and ears and are a good scout, you can kind of stay away from trouble. And that could be an interesting adventure where you have to navigate across a landscape and avoid things rather than hit them, so to speak. And you have to
Interesting.
stay stealthy, but instead of doing it in a dungeon, you can be stealthy over a landscape long distance rather than short distance, so to speak. And then you can have hunts and people follow you and you have to follow someone and stuff like that could be an interesting game if you come up with the right rules and have a cool dynamic for it. It can be fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you might not, and IUs might have spies that can fly, which means that you can't move in daylight, or they might be the ones that move at night. So you have to, you can only move during daylight, and you have to find cover at night, or you only can only move at dawn and dusk. And then it's also weatherbound. And winter might be so damn cold you don't want to move anywhere, and you only come here in summer. But on the other hand, a lot of the area is probably marshy and wet and nasty in summers, and you have mosquitoes. Perfect for a druid spell. You can summon an insect plague that is stronger than anything. So I would give a druid a lot of bonus extra plus on doing spells like that because there's probably so much insect, so you don't need to cast a spell. It summon itself, so to speak.
Very. It's good to see a little different area being live streamed too, so you get to see
Yeah.
another aspect when
Yeah.
that's up. But see, Tim's stacked up now because he's got that plus his reverse dungeon he plays plus the City State of the Invincible Overlord game that's going to be coming up a week from Saturday.
And you have another interesting dynamic, meaning in the Fellreave, you have forest, which means forest gives you cover from all sorts of things, from aerial scouts and spies and attackers. And it's also much harder because you can hide in a forest much easier than you can out in the open. But it gives you a chance you can go out and raid and then come back again. So it's an interesting dynamic between you have one of the biggest forests in the Flanies, but you also have one of the biggest open lands just next door to each other. So there you have an interesting dynamic. You can have small cups of forest. And for instance, an adventure where you have to go and look for something, and there's like 200 or 300 of these small forests and go and search through, and you have to kind of dart between them and find things. That's one and they're interesting. You can set up a campaign because there are things to be found. If you look in the Fellreave, there are some. You have druid sites. If you go from the west, you have old stuff, and down in the south you have an old orcish place. It's probably not. You have dark. What is it called there? Dark pool. Yeah, yeah.
They're a dragon's lair.
Exactly. You have a dragon's lair, green dragon there as well, and the dark pool. I have it as an old orcish place, but you also have a forgotten or unknown Flan grave sites. The necropolis is also in there somewhere. Yeah, and I made the tradition that the Flan they didn't used to dig graves. They found the deepest hole and they simply put the bones there because that way they didn't come back as undead to haunt them that easily. But if you find that deep hole, you find probably thousands of skeletons and stuff that you can animate, and that could be useful as if you're an evil overlord who wants an army of undead, you can kind of use it. So that is written about in even.
The Flan don't bury; they're undead. They're dead.
I have the tradition that they put them down in the big holes, so to speak. They started with that back in the day when undeath became a thing, and undead rulers like Serarak and Vecna and stuff. When they became popular to become undead and raise undead armies, the living people realized that no, we don't want dead bodies laying around. So they abandoned regular burial and found really deep holes to bury the dead in. So deep caves were popular because they went there and they put down the bones because that made it much harder for them to come back as undead again. So that's my tradition of old Flan burials. So you have certain sites.
I thought Flan would do peat burials.
Well, yeah, I had it that they did that back in the day, but that came back to bite them when they came back as undeads, and so they when that Serarak and Vecna and others they're kind of undead overlords, so to speak. When that became a problem and a plague, the other people said we'd had enough of undeads. We don't want to feed them anymore. So, and they rarely had the magic to disintegrate the bones and stuff. So they they tried to burn them, but that didn't work so effectively. So they actually someone came up with the idea of putting them down in the deepest pits of the under earth and be done with it. So that in my campaign that took off as a and the wolf nomads and others I have it. They put up their dead
Goats.
for they put them out so the wolves and the others can eat them. That is a way to they put them out for natural burial, so to speak, by being eaten by yeah.
The Cheyenne would leave them in the teepee. They leave the tent and the teepee there, and they would leave them in there as they moved on, and they would just leave it behind.
Yep.
And then eventually it would rot and fall apart and whatever.
Yeah, scavengers would come and eat them and stuff. So I have the wolf nomads do something similar like that, like natural burial, whatever you might call it. So yeah. So you don't bury them, you leave them, so to speak. And I have the wolf nomads, they leave them for the wolves to eat them, so to speak. And that way they also make sure that they don't come back as undead. And
circle of life.
Yeah. So that there's Mary. I wrote I need to post that blog post, or maybe Patreon will demonetize me or something. But I wrote different types of how do you deal with your dead ones in a fantasy world, different ones. So burial was something that you can do, but then I realized that now put them into deep pits. So I chose that. The Flan chose that for their preference.
Well, couldn't they be resurrected? Couldn't they be animated even if they're in deep pits?
Oh yeah, but they're much harder to find down there. So at least it made it. You have to find deep ones, meaning the ones that are 1,000 or more feet deep. So
Leonard,
much deeper.
Oh yeah.
Our friend Leonard Kafka was on the same thing, but he just created those consecrate ground spells.
Oh yeah, I have them too, and that's what a lot of Oridians do. They use clerics to use a hollow ground and also to make sure they use destruction spells. They use spells that literally disintegrate the remains and that will work. Yeah.
I like I like the idea that sort of druidically purified or holy areas would be the antithesis of undead, because undead is like the entirely unnatural.
Yep.
And I would think that the nature deities would have
yep
power over the creation of undead in their realm.
Yep. So that's something, but what I mean is this is an area where you can make up cool stuff for your campaign in that area, so to speak. The cool traditions that are fantasy-esque that you can tie into your games.
And there can be wide varieties, and that's probably that adds friction and cultural divide within your adventures too.
Yep.
The area that Anna mentioned initially, Narrowsbane, though, in the northern Fellreev-Barrens-Rift, is where rovers used to inter their dead.
Yep. That's where I got the idea from. Yep.
Like swallowed it up.
Right here.
The way the reading goes, it used to be a city of a long lost civilization, it says. Maybe elves. And it said that the bodies that were interred there did not decay. They just kind of were mummified or whatever.
Yep.
And it says that they interred some 20,000. Yeah, 20,000 Flan are supposedly buried there. And the forest swallowed it up, and then the rovers eventually forgot about it.
Yep.
So like the Amazon.
But wait, but Ice hasn't utilized it, is what you're saying.
No, he's looking for it. He's looking for it, just like
the Lich
others.
is looking for it, I think, or maybe it's the Hierarch.
Well, the Hierarchs and IUs and probably all of them are looking for it. They all want to. They all want that army of undead ones. That will be a major boost for anyone who can use it.
I think it would be cool if they get there, they think it's going to be their army, and they find out it's already someone else's who's from the area. There's already a head dude watching over him.
He's just waiting to someone to come. That will be.
They'll be like, uh-oh.
Yep. And then we have a little place called Dora Ka, west of it. It's a little village, and that is a crazy Lucian cleric who thinks he runs his own little domain there. He calls it Dora Ka, and he's gone crazy.
What publication is that in?
I think it's in I Use Evil. Yeah. So most of this place.
The priest who runs that little place thinks he's the only remaining priest of IUs.
Yeah. Yep.
And
So
then
he got
Ios is going to
crazy.
someday come and visit, and he's going to have this place all spiffed up
Yep.
so often.
Is there anyone
the
alive
last
there
man
but
on
him?
Earth.
Is
Probably not. Maybe a few of them so he can make new devote followers or something like that. Ius probably laughs
His
at it
whole
and thinks
hook,
it's a good idea.
the priest hook is that he's crazy and he knows the layout of Givering Gate. Like, he knows the floor plans, all the nooks and crannies. So I guess the hook is you go to Dora Ka, meet the crazy guy, to get the skinny on sneaking into Givering Gate to rescue somebody. That's my take.
So he came out of the Gibbering Gate. That's why he's crazy.
I think he was probably once a resident. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I use is kind of a crazy move anyway.
Yeah. I turned the Gibbering Gate into one of Iu's maximum security prisons, so to speak, where he wants people that are supposed to be forgotten. They are
nowhere.
interned. Yeah, because it's so far
you can
away
escape
from everything.
in how many miles is it
Well,
to the nearest?
It's 100 miles to the nearest.
It's
anything.
like Siberia being in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in northern Canada. If you're out there in the expanses somewhere, you get out there. It's like 500 miles to the nearest anything. So yeah. So I put it there and the Gibbering Gate. I had an adventure when they were supposed to go and save Thrommel from or rescue him from there, and that was my and my reverse in stuff. They met the boss monsters first outside, and they got the treasure first. Then they met the boss monster, and then the adventure unfolded after that. So
did they have that serum from Blade that undoes the vampirism on Thrommel?
Oh, I didn't get that far. It was almost impossible for them to.
Laugh it up now, Fuzzball. All of you. I'm going to get the last laugh.
Yeah. So I have it basically that the principle is that I haven't made up my mind if he's still there or not, so to speak. But the thing is that it's actually he has the souls are hidden inside he has them locked up inside the Gibbering Gate, but the bodies are in the moat. The moat is full of the dead bodies walking on like animated.
That is not cool.
Yeah. So he turns them into soul husks, and the animates have them soul husks, and they're in the and they wail, so you die if you come close to it, and it's kind of so it's a really nasty prison to get into. It's really, really nasty, and it's a really nasty demon and they got in thanks to good help, so to speak. They fought, and when they got in, one of them realized that there's some nasty shit locked in here, and realized who the heck can be the warden of a prison like this, and that's when they got really scared when they realized what they're like CR 10, 12, 15 monsters locked up in here, and who the heck could be the one keeping them locked up. And if so then they got so spooked. So and we unfortunately the campaign ended there because we had to for various reasons. We never played
PTSD for your players.
Yeah. But it was so I have a lot of the sketches and stuff. So that's on my to-do list to map the area around it and map the Gibbering Gate, because I had a lot of cool ideas for the Gibbering Gate.
I used it.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. It's kind of it's
that's
awesome.
Like that's Call of Cthulhu level horror.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. So you.
I mean that only in the most positive way.
Yep.
Sure you do.
Yep. So it's kind of it's kind of cool. And in the summer, it's winter. It's a frozen hell, literally. So you basically freeze to death. And in the summer, it's a little bit better. So yeah.
So here's none of these weird things. Doesn't the Otanase May River run all the way into the Neardeep?
Yep.
How does it run out of the lake? A call then. I don't get it.
The lake is probably getting all the runoff from other stuff.
Exactly. There's a lot of small things. Yeah. So water falls into the lake, and then the lake has an outlet that starts the main river, so to speak, and it flows through. Yeah.
Like if there's a drought and the lake doesn't fill up, then that river is going to start receding and running dry.
Exactly. It's a river that is probably not minuscule in fall, winter. It's not much. And then spring, it's gigantic or way, way bigger, so to speak.
So the lake in question is Lake Akal.
Yeah.
And according to the Living Great Gazetteer, it's a very deep lake, which I
like Loch Ness.
take as I mean, I don't know
it's
area-wise, but
interesting
it's
because
deep.
you say it's very, very deep, but on the other
Great
hand, it
Lakes
says
too.
full of islands, and deep lakes are usually not full of islands. So but it's not impossible because then you simply have to have lots of like stone pillars sticking out of it. So if a lake with lots of islands is
And it's
usually
got
a
magical phenomenon going on.
yeah, so that might be floating islands. You never know. But it's a bit contradictory. I read that too, and it's so I kind of because we already have near Div. It's the lake of unknown depths. So
Yeah.
so in that sense, I'm more like because the lake is fairly big. It's like 100 square miles or something like that in size, maybe a little bit more than 100
Yeah,
square
it's not
miles.
even,
So but it would be kind of
small.
cool to have a lake that is it can still be fairly deep, meaning it can be like 1,000 feet or so in the middle, but you can have in parts. But it would be cool to have a lake with lots of islands in it because that makes it, in some sense, more interesting
Question.
than deep. Yeah,
There's something here, right? Some
yeah.
creature. If I'm,
There's some critters and stuff in there
All
too. Yeah.
kinds of critters there.
Yeah, so we need to have it at least deep enough so you can hide some monsters in there. So we can have parts of it deep, but it's big enough that you can have lots of islands and you can have some significant deep depth in
but I
it
thought
in
there
some
was something
places.
specific here. Is it
Yeah,
a
I forgot
dragon,
about it.
turtle, dragon?
Maybe a dragon turtle or something, but
So I
yeah,
did the
yeah,
reading on this today.
yeah.
Good.
Water nagas,
All right.
Uh-huh.
green hags, strange dragons in quotes,
So
Okay.
Yulong
and
carp dragons.
and ordinary animals, while
Okay.
ordinary wildlife
Uh-huh.
are 150% bigger here. There's
Oh.
Okay.
things,
Cool.
something's in the water.
Yep.
There,
Cool.
there needs to also be some island where a wizard's got some sort of nasty little keep on it
Yeah.
to do his thing.
Yep.
There
So
also
I
It just
painted
smells
in some
like it.
islands. Yeah.
needs to be an island with a bunch of toys that no one wants. I'm sorry. No, that's
Okay.
something
Yep.
else.
And in the can't remember if this is I use the evil or living Greg Gazetteer. There's a story about the lake, how a missing girl found her way back to her people. I can't remember if she was a rover, if she was a elf. I can't remember that part. But the girl mentioned benign, long-featured men who could walk on air, who were around the lake.
Okay.
So
Yep.
take your guess what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Peaceful,
What's long featured?
featured.
What's that mean?
I guess long-limbed, long necks.
That sounds
long,
like that sounds like a 5th edition Asimar to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
and they float on air. Yeah, I think Azamar, something aerial.
I can't believe I
Aerial
just
man.
said that. Someone strike me down.
I don't like it.
Sam says the Vati. They are the Wind Dukes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of Aka, Lake Akal. Yeah, it's pretty blatant.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there. It's a mystical area that all the other people avoid it, really. You know, the elves don't go there, Eyes doesn't go there. People avoid it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there and put a lake
would be a
house.
hugely awesome place to fish.
Yeah.
I mean, a fish is 150% larger, so
Yes.
anything you catch, it's going to feed more people. So I mean, I would say that maybe they fish just downriver from the lake and get to avoid that.
Now that you mentioned fish, that's one of my other notes. So this feeds the Artanzame River. A little further on into the forest is the tributary, the Cold Run.
Yep.
And one of the neat little, it says very little about the Cold Run, but what it does says is that there are eels and pike here.
Okay.
So, yeah, if the Cold Run has eels and pike, I can imagine Lake Akal has some fishing stories.
Oh yeah, and in temperate areas in the real world, there's usually plenty of fish in the water. So because the water is often very nutritious, fresh water in temperate areas. So you might have tons of it and some seasonal cool stuff too. So yeah.
So moving on, Castle Dalvier. What we got?
Yeah, this is cool. Yep. hang on a second here.
Does not sound like a barbarian place.
I think he's a lich, isn't he?
Nowadays he is a lich.
Nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays since I have he's he's a lich, and he is an ardent follower of Nerul, and he was one time an ally of the Hierarchs, and he might even have been a Hierarch himself back in the day. And but I also have him back in the day. He was one of the leaders of the fight against the Origians when they came, and that's when he set up shop. And after that, he became, that probably turned him really nasty, so to speak. And he just decided to stay on after death, and he's still here. So yeah.
But he's one of those liches that's not expanding like Vector or Astarak.
Well, he has some nasty neighbors too. So,
Right.
so yeah.
Isn't he kind of stuck to this spot or something, or am I confusing that with someone else?
No, you may be correct. He's bound there for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's searching for Neryl's Bane.
Yeah, he says that even though Dalvier has a small army of undead and untold access to elven artifacts, he has remained isolated and neutral for the last couple of decades. Secretly, however, Dalvier has been gathering allies and waiting for Ayus to make a mistake before unleashing his own evil and plans of conquest. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Do we know? Is it really evil though?
So he's got that going.
It depends. Yeah. Your enemy's enemy is your friend.
Animating an army, yeah.
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 But they're not doing anything.
They're just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Borrowed manpower.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it'll end up to no good though.
Yes.
Yep. I made heraldry for him. Maybe I published it on my blog. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I think you did.
I think I did already. Yep.
This map hasn't been updated in about a year, Anna. Woo-hoo.
No, and that is new heraldry, so I haven't put that on the map. Yeah. So I made it, and the heraldry is kind of gruesome. We shouldn't go into too much detail, but see if I can find the link to
kind of gruesome.
Yeah.
Well,
how bad could it really be?
Don't ask how he got those elven artifacts.
Here it is. A little further down the page. Castle Dalvier, where he lives, is built on the ruins of a high elven city. So there you go, Anna. There's your elven.
Okay, there's some elven. Okay, good.
Yeah. Allegedly.
It was raised by Iridians 900 years ago, and he took up shop there.
Where? In... Oh, so
his castle. His castle is an elven castle that was raised 900 years ago.
Awesome.
And that's where he got the elven artifacts.
Good for him.
He moved in and he ruined the neighborhood, and the elves all left. So he built his castle.
Sam says that doesn't sound right.
Nearly 900 years ago.
That's an eyes evil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an eyes evil, Sam. I thought so.
A human outweighted elves? That's pretty amazing.
Well, someone has to. Elves don't live long in Greyhawk because none of them are over 1,000 years old. Like
not if they have liches as neighbors.
Yes.
That comes and says hi. So we'll see here. I think.
Well, Iridians did it. It says not Flan.
The Iridians.
Yeah, Iridians did it. Yeah.
Flan would never stuff.
Thanks for all. So let's go over to at least a little bit of more positive side here. Greenkeep. What's going on here?
That's resistance against Ayus. Yeah.
The resistance.
Yes.
Yep, the resistance. That's the last hope. The base of last hope, so to speak.
That's what they think.
For what? The last hope for what? Last hope for the Fellreev? Last hope for the whole area?
It's simply a riffraff of people that have fled from it and who are fighting back, so to speak. And the thing is, now since Ayus have taken over the Bandit Kingdoms, their situation is kind of bleak. But they have the rovers that are just north of it in a place called Sable Watch. It's probably not your map because it's based on the 576 map.
No, what did you say, Sable Watch?
Yep. just north of it there. Yep.
Yeah, it's Ibwatch. That's where Casey's character's from.
I
Yep.
thought I had it on my map. Oh,
No,
well.
you based it on the 576 map, and it wasn't
Okay.
mentioned until afterwards.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Forest is so thick, though. You may think you're far from your enemies, but they could be real close. You can get right up on people.
Yeah.
I know in training in Hawaii, when I was in Hawaii, it's all like really heavily overgrown. Your average engagement range was 25 meters. I mean, that's close. Before you find it, somebody's there, So it's like
So are you saying
you
that
can't I'm saying that IUs can't own the forest. He may think he does. He may think he has incursions, but you can't.
So
Yeah, he
Can't. You only own what you see, and unless you decide that you're going to, I mean, how much?
It's
What's
on
the
all his
acreage?
maps. He owns.
Yeah, what's the acreage of that forest? That is
Yeah,
like
it's
a
surrounded.
That is
ancient,
big.
huge.
Exactly. That's
He's
like
got it surrounded.
75,000 square miles or something. So it's
Yeah.
big. Yep.
So, Tim, how many people did you kill with an entrenching tool?
Nobody.
Oh. Okay.
In my mind, I don't know, but nobody in real life. Nobody in real life.
Damn. Okay. All right. I have to ask. Because you got
There
it
was
real
only
close.
one person who I really wanted to hit with an entrenching tool. I wanted to hit him right here under his nose with the serrated edge of that E tool. I really wanted to pound that dude, but I didn't. And it's better off that way, really.
Yeah, you didn't get court-martialed.
Well, only if they catch you. But still, it's just better off not to do it.
Yes, but you wanted to. That's the key.
When everyone's starving and you're not sleeping, your cortisol levels are high.
Oh, you're talking about your ranger training.
Yeah, you're more likely to snap. And
2 hours sleep a night, yeah, for 2 months, for months straight.
Just a couple months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
He really made me angry, but I let it go.
So
and we laughed about it later, so it was all good.
There you go.
Well, you get some anger management treatment too. Not only negative, you get positive. You get to shoot at things, and that helps too. So yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I shot a rabbit with a machine gun, but we shouldn't talk about that here. Yeah.
I started something bad here.
That gave me hope for a whole week afterwards.
I never heard that one, Anna.
Yeah, that was one of the few times in pure joy I killed a wild animal. So yeah.
That's
you
awesome.
didn't try to eat it. Was there anything left to eat?
No, there was nothing left to eat. I had tracers too.
Just
so
like in Wasteland, a fine red mist.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yes, I can imagine it. It would be awesome.
What's up
with
the Felllands, everyone?
European hares like the jackrabbit, the big one.
Right. Well, it could have been a Vorpal bunny, so you had to be sure.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. I had to be sure. And every fourth round was a tracer. So and you put up the gas regulator to max, and then you go for it. So yeah.
Like what is that? What's that smell? Is that burning hair?
We'll buy Anna drink at Gary Con to get the full story about that.
Yep.
That'll be awesome.
I'll tell the story. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
Oh my God, no holy ink grenade of Antioch.
Yep. So you can win. So now we know why the humanoids are grumpy and stuff. They are on constant training like that. They're grumpy. The orcs and gnolls and others. They're grumpy. Yep. I don't think I published it, but it's coming. There's a whole section of Horn Society heraldry coming, so and it's included in there.
What's up with the Felllands, everyone? I know Tim has used it and gone into there.
It's one of these Bandit Kingdom, the further north of the Bandit Kingdoms. One of these petty lords that calls themselves kings or warlords or whatever it is.
Gloucester, because we have a Gloucester near where we live.
Reading about the Felllands, it's kind of like in your face, go F yourself kind of place where everybody is kind of like, we'll do what we got to do to not be massacred, but we're not going to take your shit kind of people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was doing with Underdogs when they met those bandits, when they met the freedom fighters.
Yep. And
they're part of that whole collective sort of mentality there of, you may live here, but we're not taking your crap, and we're going to avoid you.
Basic hill folk type with a notable orc admixture. Sounds Delectable.
it's one of these tough, and I guess it's kind of on the fringe even for Bandit Kingdoms, so to speak. And it's probably one of these areas that where I use hold is tenable or not that deep, so to speak. They probably it's if you want to go hide somewhere and you have some resources with you, then you can go and hide there from almost anybody. But it's a tough
Okay.
place to. It's one of these semi outlaw places in Greyhawk. So it's the last bit that is at least reasonably inhabited and slightly organized. There we have that part is kind of the most interesting bits of the Bandit Kingdoms in some ways. You have the Midlands and the where you have the Kingdom of Yorhasi and Yorasi and then you have with Wheatfield and stuff. That is, in some ways, it's the breadbasket of the Bandit Kingdoms where you can have some you have the eastern Antonsamai River Valley in the east, and then you have the Midlands in the center. That's the area where you can probably have a little bit of organized living and people can grow crops and that's how they survive, so to speak. And it also reflects in that Yorasi is one of the most organized parts of the Bandit Kingdoms. They have mercenaries and they are renowned mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
The kingdom of Yorasi. So the Yorasi knights have been used by many and they seem organized and to train and organize mercenaries, you need at least the semblance of civilization, so to speak, in order to gather enough money to get the equipment and to train and equip and all that, so to speak. So it seems to be with Roost being one of the place, and Kinnimit is the place where the Yorasi comes from, so to speak, that capital.
Isn't this where they slaughtered all the Bandit Kingdom people, stealing
Yep,
the metals?
exactly.
Okay.
That's where I use lure them in and then kill them. And that's why it's one of these haunted places. And then you have the Fleischreiber up in the freehold.
Or as I call it, minus Morgul.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Exactly.
Why is
Yeah.
that, Mike?
It's an evil place.
Yeah, it's just translate that from German and it's kind of a cool name. Yeah.
Flesh Ripper?
Kind of, or write it in flesh, kind of. Yeah.
It sounds like flesh shiver, like your favorite spell.
Yeah, a scriber, meaning to ascribe, so to speak. So a flesh scribe. Yeah.
So they tattoo.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where he runs his experiments, and there's like haunting sounds from the landscape coming out of it and stuff. That's from Ayus the evil.
And he probably looses those monsters onto the Fellreev.
Yeah. So that's why there's only North Keep. There's no other towns or anything because no one wants to live close by there because then you probably become monster food or something. So and then you have another seems to be very welcoming place called Wormhole. Wonder what that term can come from.
Wormhole right here, yeah.
Yeah, in the west. That's kind of another interesting place that was. Let's see here, Mike. Do you have the story? Let's see if I can find it. I wrote it down here somewhere. So
the what?
Wormhole.
Wormhole. This story.
I don't know about them.
Yeah, Wormhole. Hang on a second. Here we go. So Wormhole is a decaying limestone citadel and the western edges of the barony of Wormhole. Oh. Yeah, it rests on the shores of the Ritensa the funny thing is that it says that it rests on the shores of the Ritensa, which it doesn't do on any of the maps, but that's one of the problems with text and maps. And who rules Wormhole? It says this: large worms crawl through the walls of the keeps, and rumors abound that Caius is somehow involved in the affairs of the land.
Around.
Yeah, that's why Wormhole. So we have Caius there, and apparently there is a group called the Silent Master was said to rule prior to arrival of the Old One's forces through the mouthpiece named Baron Oldtag. He seems to be I use henchman who runs the place now. So it's kind of So it's one of these that we don't know that much more, so to speak, but it's full of these. I've taken a bunch. There's some snippets and stuff here and there. and there's some stories about old tag and stuff from the Living Greyhawk. And most of that was from, some of it is from I Use the Evil, and some of it is from Living Greyhawk had several adventures set in the area. So that there is so Baron Oldtag is a nasty critter in himself. So it's one of these really interesting places to go adventuring. So there's a lot of stories of how he took captives from various other refugees fleeing, and there's some nasty stuff that we should not reiterate here. But anyone who wants to dig into the Living Greyhawk, there are some stuff for wormholes. So yeah.
I want to go down here because I want to know about this Borgid's Great Hunting Lodge on the Tangles
Yeah.
border.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about it.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Hunting Lodge. Let's see. We can do hunting here.
What's up, Rungel?
It's probably like the most dangerous game.
Brungel, Stronghold's on now, so I'm not sure if he got the screen yet or not.
Hang on a second here. We have Thunks. Yep.
Because I don't know much about the Tangles themselves either.
No, I don't. It's one of these places from
Living Greyhawk.
Living Greyhawk. Yeah. So I'm not sure who Thunk is, but we need to. He's
Thunk.
mentioned here. Yeah, Thunk. Yep.
Was the Tangles once part of the Fellreev?
Good question.
Probably. My guess probably that they were probably more together, and then someone started living there for 1,000 years or something. So, but Tangles is also one of these that say it's so nasty and tricky that I use and others have tried to burn it down, but it seems to be impossible.
Sam says LGG says they're merry men types, old Damaras worshippers in the Tangles. Yep. Interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There is another just like the green the green Greenkeep defenders. There's the other equivalent in the Tangles. Okay. Only Damara's merry men. It's like Robin Hood, Greyhawk version of Robin Hood.
Cooperating against the common enemy.
You probably need that druidical ability to pass without trace to even make it through there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always think of like that. God, I'm showing movies now. When they went in New Mexico in Young Guns, when they're going to travel through those prickly, those thornbriar things with all the barbs. Yeah. That's what I think about when I hear the word Tangles.
More like Predator. Like I cut through the jungle.
Yeah. Sam, you're onto something that a lot of open prairie, it's too dry for forests to grow. But if you look at highlands, like hills in prairies, there you have the forests, they grow up on the hills rather than down on the plains. And that is because if you come up a few 100 feet or 1,000 feet or something, then you hit the cloud cover. The clouds give enough humidity so there you have enough like moisture
so the Tangles are higher than the surrounding land?
Exactly
because they're on the slope of the rift.
So there's a lot of areas in the world that it's too dry down on the flat land, but if you come up the hills, you can see that up on the hills you have lots of forest growing, and I'm not sure I can find any place like that in America, but they're a large part of Asia and stuff like when it is like that, especially when you have an inland climate. It's so dry. But up on the mountain, you get like a special altitude where you often have rain clouds or like clouds in a certain area. And these clouds, they bring enough moisture that puts on the ground. And because trees not only take the water from their roots, they also take the water from their needles and their leaves.
That's how redwoods grow so tall.
If the water's condensing, it's going to like
exactly, and it seeps down the ground. Exactly, it condenses on the ground and on the soil. So that's one of the reasons that you might have. So both the Fellreev and the Tangles might be higher up, and then you have the valley in between that is too low, and then therefore it's drier, so to speak. But you also get a lot of runoff from the high, so that you can use irrigation and do agriculture down in the valley by using irrigation, so to speak.
So I would say too, the Tangles doesn't need to be all forested and all super trees. You can have a type of undergrowth that's indigenous, that's highly, convoluted and it makes it
Just look,
difficult. I've
yeah.
run into that in Hawaii. There was
And
some
we have the
undergrowth that
hills
was
here, just where I
so
live.
hard.
We have the chaparral, the hills
I,
here that are
And
full of
vines that
bushes.
grow
I'll
on
tell you. I'll tell you what's
Yeah.
up in
trees.
Pennsylvania. Rhododendron forests. You cannot walk through that at all,
Yeah.
man. That
Yeah.
stuff is so
And
thick.
mhm.
Yeah.
And we have it here
Yeah.
that these are it's like heather up in colder climates,
Yeah.
but these are like 6 feet tall, roughly. So up to about 10 feet, the tallest. And it's almost impossible to walk through them. But they're
Yeah.
not trees, they're shrubs rather. So I can
Yeah.
see the tangles primarily being a shrub forest rather than full of big
Large
tall
trees.
trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bent Metal says orographic lift.
Yeah.
That sounds
Mhm.
familiar.
Yep.
Orographic.
Yep. So there's a lot of dry places in that place, even in deserts and stuff. Morocco is a place where you have cedar forest and stuff up in the mountains, and down in the valleys, it's bone dry
Huh.
desert, so to speak.
Interesting. Very cool. As we go south.
Yep.
So we got about a half hour. So
Well, I want to say, but in the Barrens somewhere, we also have some of the
Ooh, you
oh,
have
the
them there
mongrels.
too. Damn.
mongrels are up there too.
Do they have affiliate followers up there? Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Different kinds of mongrels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But they're still tongue
no,
fixated.
they're taking foreskins and stuff, right?
Oh, ears.
No,
Oh,
the
damn. Yeah.
the ones that were taking off the skin, flesh, and putting pigment on them to mark them.
That's the non-safe for work version. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the foreskins, the 5 skins.
Because that was why Three Skins had his name, right?
That's right.
Oh God.
Oh, that was which character had his
Skins.
face something all messed up? Was that Will's character?
That was Howls in the Grass, the rover who was from a neighboring tribe who had gotten captured
by the mongrels.
Part of the Dark Hand.
Yeah.
By mongrels of the defiled flesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta have mongrels wherever we go, everyone, and then our Greyhawk.
Yes, I got a whole page full of mongrels. You'll see.
Orcs will breed with anything, except elves.
Yeah.
But we found the secret for that.
You have to know the secret formula. It's been lost to time again. It has to be rediscovered in the course of campaign play. Where's the animated tongue shield icon? Yeah,
that's on Jay's press the wrong button.
Yeah, if I press the wrong button, Alex, it'll show. So
I have a bag of tongues. I plan on making it on a real shield.
Uh-oh. Damn.
That's part of my craft projects.
How you gonna get them to animate?
Oh, he will
wire connectors in the back that kind of work. So they
Bill will help
my
him with that part.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the day. So, the Rift Canyon.
I'll do a Patreon.
Yeah.
Will you support my mongrel work?
Oh my gosh!
I will be outcompeted. Yep, definitely.
No, I don't think so.
I stay. Let me tell you something. I stay out of the Pine Barrens because if you take a wrong turn off the main highway and you get on a dirt road, you may never find your way out, man.
Uh-oh.
I'm dead serious. In those Pine Barrens. And I don't want. I don't need deliverance music in the background. I just don't.
I'll go in the Pine Barrens.
Well, it's because you will kill someone with an entrenching tool, so that's why. I don't carry one with me. Oh, that's funny. All right, Rift Canyon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a couple of we have Rift Crag, the city, now under Ayusian rule.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And
I thought that he was on the Alps,
provincial.
though. If I recall, it said that there's all sorts of problems there. Am I right?
Oh yeah, well he has. It's tough for him to rule here, but yeah, and it was during his occupation. It was one of his provincial capitals, so to speak.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
No problem, Tim.
and then we have on the southern side. There's there's a place called Veralos. I actually put it's not detailed exactly where it's supposed to be. It's an old clan stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
That it's actually from the Greyhawk treasures of Greyhawk that one you hand out so readily often. It's mentioned in there, and
that's right there on the edge.
Yeah. So I put it there because I thought it was kind of cool that if you want to have a place where it's well defended, and it's supposed to be where the clan kept some old secrets and stuff that someone, if you come and steal them, they will come and haunt you forever, so to speak. So there was
Minor
Like the
stuff.
mummy's curse, right?
yeah, like a mummy's curse. So that is and then you have the leering keeps that are
Oh, wait, huh. There's
nor
three of
north
them.
to
North.
guard. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. So yeah,
Guard against what?
probably from nasty stuff coming out of the rift is my guess. But yeah, so I'm not really sure. And then
In
you have
Age of Worms,
yeah,
the Adventure Path Age of Worms, I think it's on the north side of the rift. They place a giant city there.
yep. It's
The
the
city of giants.
Thulnir, Kongen
Yeah.
Thulnir in the
Kongen
west.
Thulnir.
There you
Yep.
go.
There it
Yeah,
is. Here it is.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So that maybe is
Yeah, I took away the
potential.
name Kongen because that's to me it was we had a yeah it's just funny sounding Swedish name, so I took that away in my campaign. Just called it Thulnir, which also sounds like Old Norse, but it's yeah. So that is a city of giants. I put Dragotha's lair in there, but I'm not really sure where to put it.
That's
So
fine. Right there.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be
yeah.
exact.
Worm
Yeah.
crawl fissure.
And then you have the Screaming Reach Manor is one of these that I now forgot what the heck that was, but it's back in the day. I think it's from I Used the Evil, I think, but hang on a second here. So
I think so too.
yeah.
We're doing 2 giveaways, classic D&D reprints, by the way. 2 drawings. So, Josh, staying out of trouble? Did you see my you responded. All right, cool. Excellent. Yeah, Screaming Reach Manor.
Yeah. Let's see how many hits I get on find out where that is. Oh, it's mentioned in Casey's book.
Oh.
Yep.
So it's Living Greyhawk.
Yeah. So
Lord knows what the story is.
Yeah, so we'll see if I can find something. Screaming Reach Manor. It's from it came from the deep. It's a Living Greyhawk adventure. It's a Master Maze dungeon crawl interactive, so it's set in the Screaming Reach. It might have been one of the Leering Keeps that are just called that way. So yeah, when a series of tunnels open up under the Screaming Reach Manor near the edge of Wormcrawl Fissure, the PCs investigate and discover a variety of abominations being led by an illithid. Yep.
Oh, cool.
All of the monsters were driven off and the tunnel sealed. The illithid escaped deeper into the under or earth. That's what we know. Yep. That's from the unofficial Living Greyhawk Bandit Kingdoms summary by K.C. Brown. Yep. Yep.
Imagine that.
Yep.
I don't have that book right here buried, so it's somewhere. But,
yep. Yep. So it's a good summary. It's a great asset to have that book.
All right, as we move on here, boom, 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 boom. Why is it called Centaur Mesa? Anyone know?
I'm not sure what that comes from. Hang on a second. Let's see what we can find.
The same reason that island's called Centaur Isle.
Where's that?
That's another. It's another Trouble at
Piers
Centaur
Anthony,
Mesa.
I believe.
Yeah, it's another Bandit Kingdom Living Greyhawk adventure.
Okay.
Yep.
So
yep.
What's up, Celtic?
Lots of pitfalls there.
Yep. And the adventure is reviewed by Jason Bullman, so he can't be all bad then.
Yep. Oh, okay.
So in the I Use the Evil post-war situation, Kranzer is the lesser bone heart mage, I guess, who rules out of Rift Crag, right? And there are men of the Rift who I guess still scrape out their existence in and around the canyon.
Yeah, we have. Oh, sorry.
Whereas they probably used to run the above ground works, the Leering Keeps and all that.
We have a summary from Casey's book, excellent book here again. After having saved a Rift Baron's nomad from a warg-riding goblin patrol, the PCs were asked to go to Centaur Mesa and look for a missing group of nomads. The PCs were asked to go because the nomads were superstitious about this area and would not venture into it. Once you're on the Mesa, the PC discovered that the missing nomads were all dying due to a mysterious wasting sickness.
Yeah.
The
That's
PCs also
referenced.
discovered that a small
Yeah.
demon was tormenting an ancient pond-bound tree ant. Okay, pond-bound tree ant. Sorry. After vanquishing the demon, they learned that a mystical pool of water located in the cabin below the pond was being used by the tree ant to contain a demonic plague. Yeah, caused by the nomad sickness from spreading unchecked. Yeah.
The Flan, the Rovers of the Barrens,
Yeah.
it's mentioned in here that there's a
Yeah,
wasting
and
disease.
yeah, and the PCs, the story is that they cleared it up and the tree ant was all right and all that. So yeah, happy ending.
There's no water at the base of the canyon. I mean, pool. There may be some pools.
I'm sure there could be lots. Meaning,
but I'm just saying, it's not a big lake.
It goes
I
down
don't
to the
think so.
Sunless Sea.
Yeah, but meaning if the area is so big and it can be so deep, you can do meaning you can have bottoms of different elevations. So you can have big lakes, you can have holes down into whatever plane of shadow, the abyss, whatever. You can have cool magic gates into places. You can have all sorts of cool stuff.
It could be the Grand Canyon.
The canyon's
too,
a mile
right?
high.
It's only a mile deep,
roughly.
though, according to Canon. That's the
What
problem.
is the highest waterfall in the world?
The highest water, Norway has one of the highest. The highest I've seen there is about 500. It's about 500 meters. That's 1,500 feet.
So there is no mile waterfalls.
No, the waterfalls. I don't think there's a mile high waterfall, but probably higher than a kilometer. So not far from a mile, so to speak. So not far from it. But Norway has some of the highest, and I've seen it. It's one of the highest, and it's about 500 meters. I think
the deepest part of the Earth to the highest point on the Earth is only 11 miles.
Yeah.
So a mile waterfall would be really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, meaning take because you have to come from a lake. So if you have like a big mountains in Himalayas and other stuff like that, you might have a sheer wall somewhere where you can fall over, so to speak. So in a fantasy world, I want to have things a little bit beefier in height. So I made the top of the mountains. I've taken height for more than Mount Everest in height, and certainly deeper, so to speak. So is
the Rift Canyon porous? Like, is there just water seeping down?
Exactly, they can disappear somewhere. Meaning, what if you have one of the starts of the river Styx might come there, so to speak? One of the water might fall into the river Styx. You never know. Yeah, so you can have cool fantasy explanations, and of course you can have like a big lake in one part, and that lake falls over, and the water disappears somewhere else. And deep down there, you might have openings to the plane of shadow and down to the nether planes, and you never know. Yeah,
Angel Falls. So we need to put a waterfall there and call it Azamar Falls, right?
Yeah. Yeah, both Brazil and Africa has probably some of the highest in the world. They have some big mesas in Brazil. I've seen on television. I haven't been to Brazil.
Wow, 3,200 feet's half mile.
Yeah, that are really like hard rocks that they're called horsts in geology. Old hard rock that just stands up really, really high up, so to speak. And there's some in Africa too that I've seen from the air but never been on. So there's some high. Yeah.
Hit a wrong button there. Wrong button.
So maybe we can Google the tallest waterfall in the world.
Angel Falls. They just
said. Angel Falls. Yep.
3,200 feet.
In Venison. Yep.
I like to think the River Styx is taking a trickle from every ancient river. Just a trickle.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's a bit 3,200 feet. That's a little bit over a kilometer high. So that's double
crazy.
What I saw in Norway. So, and 500-meter waterfall, that's enormous. that's so high that the water is not really water when it comes down. For the most part, it's just a mist. So it's just like rainfall over the area, so to speak.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It would have split apart. Yeah.
Exactly. It's more like dense clouds that make you really wet when you stand under it. Yep.
So there's an Eastern layering keep on this side too. I didn't even realize
I
that.
think it was called the Trollfall or so, the Trollfallet in Norway. Yeah.
Why would these people live on the edge like that? What's to draw them there? It's like not a handy place to live. So
Exactly. Yeah. It might be, let's say, if you want to dig for minerals, instead of digging, you just rappel down the side and you can kind of pick stuff out that instead of digging
supposedly silver mines there.
Yeah, exactly. You can dig into it without having to dig deep down into the earth. You can just, meaning big holes in the real world are kind of interesting for mining, meaning South Africa and parts of the Rift Valley in Africa are really good for mining. So you can have the same phenomena here in a fantasy version of it. That if you have an opening, all sorts of interesting things that are normally hidden deep underground are available if you just rappel down the side of the mountain. There should be dwarfs living here. Yeah.
Game Minecraft supports your theory.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There are smaller silver mines.
Yeah. So there should be greedy dwarfs here exploring somewhere.
Not silver, but silver
dwarves kicking everybody's ass and taking their stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there are dwarves. I mean, a lot of the dwarves get captured here, don't they? What is it? Law's Forge, right? Isn't that where they're holding a whole bunch of dwarves?
Yeah, they had some dwarf. That was a living Greyhawk idea, I think. I don't think it was.
No, I think it's Eyes of Evil.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that they captured a whole bunch of them, and you're forcing them to make weaponry for them.
I don't see how that's possible.
Law's Forge, where the document to create Shieldland was forged there. The law of the land was forged there.
I'm almost positive. Maybe it was Deep Shuttle Delve.
There was some. Yeah, I know there was somewhere they had dwarfs, but I thought it was a living Greyhawk it mentioned. But yeah. But you're right. It might very well have been Card Sergeant. So we can blame it on Card Sergeant. Yeah.
Was Shieldland's living Greyhawk?
Dwarves neither ask nor take.
Living Greyhawk had the Shieldlands campaign too. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they messed that part up too. So yeah, they added to the mess that Card Sergeant and they kept on messing it up.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
They also added some cool stuff too. So meaning, in my opinion, Living Greyhawk was all over the place from top quality to bottom quality. So it covered the whole range. There's some awesome stuff from Living Greyhawk, and there's some terrible stuff in my opinion. Well, that was before the Living Greyhawk. So that was the return of the adventure that should not be mentioned, I guess.
All right.
Isn't that the rumor, Moose, that the Phoenicians came over 1,000 years ago and took all the copper out of Michigan? I've seen that multiple times.
That seems to be more than conspiracy theory.
Maybe somebody did, but I don't think you can say it's the Phenicians.
Well,
I don't think the Phoenicians made it. I don't think the Phoenicians made it much past Gibraltar, to be honest.
Well, I would say the Phoenicians. Are we talking about them as a genetic group? Or are we talking about the Phoenicians as a culture?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can claim the culture, but you could claim.
I'm just. He says it's rumor. They didn't have the ships to make. I didn't think so.
I don't think that we can say
they didn't make it to the Canary Islands, as far as I know.
I don't think we can say they didn't have the ships. I think we can say we don't know what kind of ships they had.
Yeah. But the Phoenicians were they were good seafarers, but I don't think they made it to
every darn continent.
Yeah, but they didn't make it to
Somebody
Michigan.
got there.
We can probably be sure about that part. So yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Thanks,
the Vikings didn't make it there either, as far as we know. So yeah.
Oh, come on, the Kensington
now I believe that.
Oh yeah, we have the Kensington men. So yeah, but that's inconclusive at best. So yeah, that would be cool if my ancestor would have made it to the Pacific.
To Minnesota.
But I don't think. I don't think that they took much later to. Yeah. Yeah.
Romans believe Phoenicians were ancestors. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that being found, and eventually scientists will uncover more and more of the truth in this. So hopefully that some of this conspiracy theories might turn out to be true. You never know.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
A lot of stuff now.
Yep.
All right, so we don't have as much over on the eastern side.
Not that much.
What's Ankeg Springs?
Yeah, that was one of these. I think it's one of they just wanted some cool monsters popping out of the ground, so someone came up with Ankegs, is my guess. I think it's I use the evil or Markless or somewhere, so to speak. Yeah, it's one of these weird places that just, yeah, and he's mentioned in places. So hang on a second. Let's see if I can.
It's probably just a frontier town where
I
an
bet you it's
Anak
in
dug
Casey's
a
book. I
hole
bet you
and
$1,000.
the
Yeah,
springs came through the hole that the Anak
yeah,
dug
we'll
and
see
it
here.
became a tourist
Ankeg,
trap.
yeah. Ankeg.
And Cake Springs. That's funny.
Yeah, Ankeg Springs. Yeah, it's in. Yeah, it's actually
How
the
did I know
trouble at
that?
Centaur Mesa is actually set. There's one of them.
Oh,
It's a follow-up to that one is set in there. So there's several, and we have Love Letter is another one adventure in from the BK that was set in Ankeg Springs. Yep. Oh, that
Yeah,
has
that
a green
it's all
dragon in
gonna
it.
be.
No, it's
Oh, really?
a red dragon.
red.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That has a name I should not even try to pronounce. Yep. Yep. So let's see what we have more of Enkig.
And Cake Spring. Mike, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts about this whole Rift Canyon area?
Surprisingly, Rift Canyon is just not one of the places that like grabs me.
I agree.
I used it in Age of Worms because they put a lot of stuff down in there, and the giant city on the side. So I feel like I got my money's worth out of that, just
Right.
that part. But like I never really did much with the Bandit Kingdom part of it, pre-wars and all that. It's just not an environment I explored. I would be more inclined to do like what Tim's doing with, the plains survival thing rather than Rift Canyon survival.
So we
Yeah.
had an adventure pre From the Ashes, as I've always said. Oh no! Oh crap! I did it again! Ah! Where the Bandit Kingdoms invaded the Shieldlands, the eastern part of Shieldlands before, and there's a keep there. That if you released what's inside the keep, it would stop the army, right, Tim? Named Fortress Elendar. Oh, now he walked away. Ah, we'll move on. Yes.
Yep. But I think it's cool that we have the rift because it's one of these. It's an interesting
absolutely.
geological phenomena and or formation. It opens up with some interesting gameplay.
But
It's
Jeff's
kind of
right.
cool.
You can
Yeah.
just go right around it. It's not
Yeah.
really blocking anything.
No, you can, and it's
Right.
not too big,
Oh
and
my
it's also
God.
in a place where it's a little bit off to the side, so it doesn't mess up. If you want to stay in the central part of the set, you can just ignore it, and if you want to have some cool stuff,
There,
you
Tim.
can have it there. So yeah,
Fortress Elendar.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
destination, not a.
yeah. But that's one of your
Okay.
stuff in your
Yeah,
campaign, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm just.
Yep. We just need to mention it. Yep.
Yeah,
The
it just.
best stuff.
Yep.
A great area.
And
So-
that's in the northern reaches of the Principality of Red Hand that Prince Siege took over in that is from the
right.
the Age of Worms adventure path. That Elhaster and all that comes from the Pisahawk era. So
Because you
that
could, at the
story,
very end of
yeah.
Age of Worms, you could actually fight Zeech, right? If I recall
I
correctly.
think so, yeah. And he has a
Tangle with him.
silver vampire, silver dragon, Cayuse priest,
Zeech is being
henchman.
used. He's not the main bad guy.
Right.
He's being
Yeah.
used.
Mm-hmm.
Is he out of Alhaster?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was one of the Shieldlanders, and then he defected and abandoned Shieldlands and became a part of Bandit Kingdoms. So
Okay.
just before the Horn Society invaded, he kind of he simply said, "No, I don't want to be part of the good guys anymore." So he shifted his allegiance and became part of the Bandit Kingdom. So that
That's what it
eastern
is.
bit of the Shieldlands was kind of disappeared, and then the Horn Society invaded, and then the major Greyhawk Wars erupted after that. So yeah,
Too much.
yep.
Lots of crazy stuff going on. So, any other things of note between the Rift Canyon all the way up to the rovers that we missed? That you guys want
Let's
to
see here.
discuss
Well,
as
we
we're
have
winding down here.
I think
we can
my,
mention Abarra or Kor that is on the west of the Tangles there. It's
That's a country, though, isn't it?
exactly. It's one of these little country, small warlorddoms or whatever you
Okay.
might call it under Bandit Kingdoms that that makes up the Bandit Kingdoms, and it was run. They had a lot of assassins, so they seem to come there. They have a culture of training murderers that are being used left and right.
Wow.
In over. Yeah, so Abara was famous for its assassins that came from there. So yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Dark Pool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Dark
so that was one of the,
Pool
and then you have Warfields to the south. That's the crossroads where the Shieldlanders and the Horn Society and others have fought wars time and time, so to speak, over hundreds of years. So that's where the borderlines between the good and the bad guys have been fought for a long time. So that's an area where you have the Stase, for instance, is a place just south of where you are on the map there. Stase is a place that was, I think, originally made by the Origians when they settled the area and became part of the Shieldlands, was later taken over and it's been fought over by. So that's been the borderlands between the Shieldlands and then the Bandit Kingdoms, Horn Society, and others. And you have a small place east of there called Hellern that was just a small town up on the western end of the Tangles, and then Ayus, after he invaded, he started beefing it up. So that to me is Ayus in my campaign. I beefed it up even more, and he's building a city there that is going to be his new capital in the middle of the empire. So he wants to be closer to the front lines where he can see things, and he also don't want to rule from far away Doraka all the time. So he's building a new capital, Helorn, because it's close to it's the center of his empire, and he can keep much closer eye on his new domain and his enemies and stuff.
But there's already a Doraka right there.
Yeah,
exactly. He has that little Doraka in up north there. Yep.
And that's Anna, and that's Anna in her campaign, assuming he is smart.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you conquered that much, you can't be a complete idiot, so to speak. So, yeah.
True.
Could be lucky.
Everyone else could be dumber.
You could be very lucky. Yeah. And if you read Gord the Rogue, you don't get that much favorable view of Ayus. He seems to be like an upstart teenager with a temper tantrums.
True.
But it's kind of cool. So yeah.
So we've gone over a lot of and you would not think that there'd be that much in this area from running the rovers all the way down through, but there's a lot of stuff in this area.
We have a couple of places but we have to mention Rook Roost or Raven's Rook again, and say Will made an awesome module or source book for that area.
Where is that? It's up north, right? It's north of
that. It's on the Artonsamai River.
Right
so yeah, there you go.
Hannah's wondering.
There we go.
Yep. So there you
have the underdogs will be going.
Okay. Yep.
Remember, Rook Roost, everyone, is this book, Raven's Rook by Will.
So there you have and also a lot of this, not so much up there, but more in southern part of the Shieldland. If you read the Gord books, you get like a quick run through of the area, so to speak, and you can get a feel for what Gary saw in this place. But Gord kind of do a quick storming through and stuff, and so but he mostly stays south of the rift and not north of it. So yeah.
Thanks, Patrick.
Well, yeah, because in that write-up, the commander of Rook Roost is not necessarily an Ayu's guy. He might be pretending to be, but he's kind of like has his own agenda. So that leaves lots of opportunity for people in the gray area.
Yep. It's that goes for Rook Roost. It goes for Grouster and also for Stoink is the same, and Kinemede and stuff are the same. You can they gives you a lot of leeway in your campaign. You can tweak it one way or the other, so to speak. You can have uproar and secret rebellions and they could be corrupt beyond anything and all sorts of cool possibilities.
Ayus is bad for business, and those guys are all about the cheddar, and they don't want you interfering with it. So they're going to keep running what they got to run.
Yep. They're going to bribe you first. If that doesn't work, they use some other alternative methods. Yeah.
Yes. So, as we wind this down.
Yeah. It was kind of a quick overview, but hopefully you got some inspiration to look deeper into areas and pick something that might be interesting for your campaign.
Yes, and we know Tim's got his own game up there in the Rovers, which is awesome. And then probably some of you use the area. A lot of people like the Bandit Kingdoms.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike and I are the same feeling for the Rift. I was like, I'd rather do stuff around White Plume Mountain myself. I think it's so cool. So
My
what's up, Terran?
college Bandit Kingdoms campaign was in the Tangles.
Okay, wow, that's
In
cool.
that area.
Yeah.
Neat,
Nice.
neat, very cool, awesome.
Guerrilla operations.
Of course, because what could go wrong, right?
Right. I taught them the 4 principles of patrolling, and they used it very well.
Yes, and a bunch of tongues got ripped out too. No, wrong game, wrong game. So let me see what everyone's up to.
Yeah.
Tim, what's going on? What do you got cracking?
Next thing is City State, 24th, 9 a.m.
A week from Saturday, 9 a.m. I haven't programmed a shout out yet.
I
So
know.
we have an event this Saturday at 9, next Saturday at 9. We also have
It
another
will
one.
be the the horrific Feast of Fiends game that we couldn't do because Jay was all sick.
Yes.
Mhm.
I will.
He was sick.
I'm still getting over it.
And I ran a little prequel with offline with Patrick and Alan, and they discovered that there was a hideous plot to kind of poison and charm people into coming to the somewhere because they were bringing the special sauce.
So, who's playing in it besides the 3 of us?
Well, right now I've got it's going to be at least you 3. So I'll see if any other fellows are available.
Okay.
And go from there.
Sounds
good.
See
if the special guest is available.
Yes.
And then we'll play the Cavalier that came to dinner.
Yes. Great. My 13th level Cavalier is going to be grabbed by a demon, teleported a mile into the air, and then dropped. It happens every adventure.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You just gave me a great idea.
No, you've used it before, man. So,
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But you're thinking all 2-dimensional.
I know.
All right.
So, good to hear, Tim. We're looking forward to it. We'll get that done up. So I'm typing in something here. I appreciate you coming on for tonight.
That was fun.
Yeah, definitely get a little view on what's what's going on in Tim's Greyhawk as well. So, Mike, what's up with you? You ever gonna play again on Wednesday?
No.
We might have you next week too. Awesome.
Probably.
We'll have a topic.
Good.
We'll figure out the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, gotta think of a topic. Hey, GaryCon signups are coming very soon for us lowly people.
Well, gold's this week, right?
Planning what I might have a shot at. But yep, it's getting closer.
There still is going to be 1 seat for the Slav Squad game, 1 seat for 2 drink minimum, and like 3 or 4 open for puppets and then some. Still available for sign up. So, gold's on Saturday. Yep. The golds. So, cool, Michael. Maybe we'll see you next week then. That'd be good.
I hope so.
What's going on, Anna?
Well, there will be. I will sit and work on Twitch.